Yeah.
We can't open multiple videos because otherwise it'll start screeching.
Okay.
So I was trying to do it in a quiet,
Okay.
diplomatic way.
Okay.
Okay, good. So we're all set now.
Now, now he was able to do so much during the time that he lived. Now, and they tell me that he was so popular and so capable and so efficient. I don't know, many of you have gone to his house in Washington, D.C. It's in South DC, and many of you know the difference of the two. And Anacostia area, and he has a house on one of the highest points in the city itself. Amazing perch. You can see the White House from his front yard. You can see Capitol Hill from his front yard. You can see, oh my goodness, all of DC for the most part downtown from his front yard. Now, that means to tell you that he was a great visionary. He's a great visionary. Yeah. And so now, one thing that you need to understand about this, let me tell you what he did. He owned a newspaper back in Boston, where he got his first steps of freedom. And he was an abolitionist. That means performed garrison actions to end slavery. He was friends with the presidents. He was a part of the women's movement to get women the right to vote. He was also the first African-American U.S. Marshal. First African-American U.S. Marshal. Now, that's a big deed, especially when you're talking about bringing criminals to justice. He was a writer, author, speaker, orator. He was world traveled around the world. And now you wonder how he was able to do it and what his income and business forms were. And you wonder, the question pops up all the time, how was he able to do that? What prompted in such a time that he lived in, how was he able to do that? And the answer is in his front yard. No, is in his backyard. The answer is in his backyard. In his backyard is a brick shed. There is still, I haven't been to his house in about 10 years now, but in his backyard was a brick shed. And they tell me that every so often he would go back to his brick shed and he would pray and worship for 3 and 4 days at a time. 3 and 4 days at a time, he would pray and worship. And, and that could exactly explain how he was able to do the things he was doing in the times that he lived in. So, which bears the question, how, when you're looking at what you're facing and your obstacles and your issues and the things that you have to overcome, prayer and devotion, amazing. Prayer and devotion will always be outstanding solutions, always be outstanding solutions. So cease not praying and devoting and worship, cease not. And so I'm overwhelmed by his capabilities and capacities. And he was also a learned violinist. I don't know if you know this, but he played the violin. He played the violin, self-taught. Now what that says to me is that he didn't see anything that he couldn't learn. He knew he could learn anything. He applied himself. And in today's perceptions, he was a genius. He was a genius. He really was a genius. And so today we have the good pleasure of reflecting back. And now I've heard him speak. Now I could put a recording on to hear him speak too today, and we'll wait for our guest to come to speak. But while we're waiting for her to show up, I want to engage a few presenters, and I've selected them, and they've written books, and I want us to hear from them, and their writings are astoundingly profound in the way that they help us to share and understand the times that he faced and how they were able to overcome. And they're from, and I look for a couple of other authors, but I want you to share these authors with us, your story. And I'm not making any kind of contrast or comparison. We just need to hear from you about, and we'll reflect with questions. We'll reflect with an understanding. But understand, I want us all to get the power of today. Now, because of the Ahmaud Arbery trial, where they've classified this past Tuesday as Super Tuesday, 2/22/22, 2/22/22. Now, I chime in on that because of the testimonies as well as the verdicts that came down. But I want you to be empowered. I feel like you should be empowered. And so with that being said, and we're going to form this roundtable here with our three authors. And we'll talk about some very profound and incredible topics. The first of our speakers today. Okay, and that is, sure, I'll let Claire introduce, please. Go.
Okay. Hello, everybody. And we were just trying to get everything, because we got a lot of presentations today. So I just want to